Okay, our next lesson in beginning rock guitar level 1 is titled Melodic Bass Lick number 1. Okay, now what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to talk a lot right now, but I wanted to say I'm going to play through the melodic lick, what you want to practice, the way you're going to play it, and then I'm going to play a chord accompaniment that you can practice along with that will be kind of fun to play along with it. So you can review this video and play along with me playing the single notes, and then play along with me playing strumming the chords to accompany you playing the single notes. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to go fairly slow. It's not fast, it's moderately slow. 1, 2, 3, go. 2, 3, 4. Repeat back to the beginning. Okay, so now I'm going to play the accompaniment. So play the single note licks along with my chord strumming. 1, 2, ready, go. 2, 3, 4, that's the accompaniment. So it should be fun to play with somebody strumming chords along with you. Now here for the first time we have to be careful about counting. Up till now we have had mostly just quarter notes and 4 quarter notes per measure. So you're just playing bum, bum, bum all the way through the page. Here we're holding if you see, the hollow note with the stem, that's a half note. And don't think of the name of the note, meaning it's a half of a beat or anything like that. It is kind of deceptive, the names of these notes. Like a quarter note is not a quarter of a beat. It's just called a quarter note, okay? And a half note is called a half note. And it doesn't really mean a whole lot, the title of the note. But know that the quarter note is pretty much right on the beat, and the half note, you hold it for 2 beats. And the one thing you have to be really careful about is that you might be tempted to, or be a little anxious and tempted to rush the half notes. In other words, you don't want to count like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then start counting faster, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, that's not the right rhythm. You have to, whatever you start out with, whatever your quarter note beat is, that's a constant ticking of the clock. It's like a tick of the clock, and 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can't rush that. And the thing is that a lot of people, they'll play the quarter notes slow on this one because you've got to fret all these different notes. And so they're real careful about fretting them, and they'll go really slow, and then they'll, you know, because the half notes are just open strings, they're really easy to play. And so they're also really easy to rush. So you don't want to go like ultra slow on your quarter notes. And then, because then the half notes would have to be dreadfully slow. So you want to get a good rhythm. What I would suggest is to go through the whole page and just hit an open string and count the proper rhythm, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And keep the beat all the same speed. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the whole note, 1, 2, 3, 4. So a whole note kind of looks like a half note. It's hollow, but there's no stem. And it has kind of a different kind of football shape to it. So it's not quite the same circle as the half notes are. So that's pretty much what we're dealing with here. That's a little more challenging is the rhythm. And learn, you know, it'd be a good idea to learn to count it while you're playing the frets if you can. Because, excuse me, if my throat gets too dry, I'll have to quit this video. So I'm going to cough if I need to. But learn to count while you're playing the frets. It's a little confusing because the counting beats are different than the fret numbers that you're reading. And they're also different from the finger numbers. And I forgot to mention, in the book here, there is a mistake right in the beginning. I tell you to use, or I show that you should use second and third fingers on the second and third frets. Change that to cross those out and put first and second fingers on that. So we're doing first and second fingers on the second and third frets. And so that's a little bit confusing too. But if you could learn to count it while you're playing the actual notes, that would be ideal. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't go any faster than you can nod your head. Notice how I'm kind of nodding. I don't suggest foot tapping. I would suggest nodding. Move your upper body rather than your feet. Because the feet, if you tap your feet, for one thing, it can make your guitar jump around like that. Now be careful about the second to the last measure because the rhythm is kind of flipped. we're doing a half note, 2, 3, 4, 1. So previously we were going quarter note, half note, quarter note, half note. But here, the second to the last measure is half note to quarter note, and we call that a sprung rhythm, where the rhythm is flipped backwards from the way it is through the body of the melody. Now, these are, I call them melodic licks. They're not really riffs. They kind of sound like riffs, and you could argue that maybe they're riffs, but if you notice, it's not the same thing all the way through. So a melodic lick means that there can be all kinds of variations. I'm usually not going to give you a lot of variation because this is a beginner's guitar book, and we're going to keep it all pretty similar. But if you notice that you start out like this, and then later you're doing, so that's a little different rhythm than the beginning part of it. So that's what I mean by a melodic lick. That means it sort of sounds like a melody. A melody isn't just a repeated pattern over and over again. A melody can have what's like anything goes. That's what a melody is. So this is a little more melodic. And so study the rhythm and make sure that you could tap out the rhythm like that, and count it. And read my page on counting rhythms. Rhythm is physical. You feel it in your bones. So read through all that, and learn to count and tap. So you when you do that, like when you're hitting just an open string or tapping, it's the same thing. You're just hitting an open string. It's like tapping. But count all the counts, even the ones that you're not playing. So if you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't want to kind of delete the counts that you're not playing. And that's one of the things, when you're reading music and learning to read music and juggling rhythms, is that you have to learn. A lot of beginners have trouble counting the beats that they're not playing. I mean, it's easy to count the beat that you're playing, but when you have beats in between, like that, that's where it gets a little tricky to count, but you'll get used to it, but don't avoid it. Don't delete the beats that you're not playing, or don't rush them. Just feel, music is a pulse, and it's a regular pulse. If you're starting out, most songs, if they have 4 beats in a measure, it's going to be 4 beats in every single measure. You're not going to suddenly have 5 beats, and you're not going to suddenly have 3 beats, unless it's really advanced, kind of avant-garde jazz or something like that, or classical music, which, we're not going to encounter. Most songs have a groove, and they just do the same groove all the way through. There are exceptions, but mostly music's going to be in 2s or 3s, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, like a waltz, right? So pretty much you can classify it in, if it's in 2s and 4s, we call that a duple rhythm. If it's in 3s, which is an odd number, it's kind of a little trickier to get used to, we call that a triple rhythm. So you're either doing a duple rhythm or a triple rhythm, and usually it's that same rhythm all the way through a song. So you don't have to worry about a lot of rhythmic surprises, though there will be some. Okay, so have fun with this. Just learning more about rhythm, and also getting your picking and fretting skills together on this melodic bass lick. Have fun. subscribe. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And also go on Facebook and find John Hedger Guitar Studio on Facebook and like my page. I usually put little short snippet videos on that page. They're shorter lessons. Like I've gone long-winded here, about 15 minutes. So, I do longer lessons when we're going through the book lessons because there are lots of little details to talk about, and I want to make sure that I cover them all. So have fun. I'll see you on the next one. All right.